Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136. Good? Ready?
From real estate
Affects the market as a whole, which then sometimes will affect the tenant.
Right. It'll come in.
to real life.
We all learn in different ways. If you think about it, Wayne Dyer might not attract everybody.
And everything in between.
Mission was really to help people just to reach their full potential.
The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right, we're back. Thanks for joining us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We really do appreciate it. We got a guest here that is actually not in the studio, but, you know, it's tough to get everybody in here. You know what, Hugo? It's really tough to get everybody in here.
That's right.
Yeah, so this guy here, I've been watching him on social media, checking him out. He's got a really unique company that I thought it would be great to have him on here because I like what he's doing. It's something different. And his name is Stephen Petasky. He is actually from Canada originally. He's now living in San Diego recently. And he's our guest tonight. He does luxury vacations. And I think there's pretty much nobody out there that doesn't like a good luxury vacation. So let's bring him on, Hugo.
All right.
How you doing, Stephen? Now, do you go by Steve or Stephen?
You can call me either, but Steve is just fine.
Steve is fine. Okay, there we go. Steve's easy. And I didn't even ask you before. It's Petasky. Is that right?
You nailed it.
I did. Okay. Yours is pretty easy. I get some that are not as easy, and then I usually screw them up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But thanks for being here today. I really appreciate it, and I love what you're doing here with these luxury vacations and how you're doing it, and you're going about it in a different way than pretty much anybody else I've seen.
Thank you very much for having me. And yes, we've tried to, after doing a similar version, but a little different for about 18 years, we decided to make a big change and try to pick a new niche in the market that no one's doing, or very, very, very few doing it and doing it well. And try to build something that I think people will appreciate, which is pretty much just giving people consistency and expectations to be met and through our vacation rental experience. But we'll dive into that, but we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's cool. And, you know, one of the things that I saw that kind of summed it up for me, and you can tell me, it was on either their website or LinkedIn or somewhere, helping our clients fulfill their vacation dreams is the legacy we sought to create by delivering elevated vacation experiences and access to your portfolio of luxury vacation homes. It's a little bit, we talked before when we went live, and it's like the JW Marriott meets Airbnb, where you're going to get a higher level of experience but in a home as opposed to a hotel.
Nailed it. Absolutely. So I think what's been missing within the vacation rental space, which I think anyone could probably attest to, is Airbnb and VRBO make up over 90% of the distribution of the vacation rentals around North America and in different parts of the world. But when you go to one, you're really relying on a host and the level of quality of experience they are choosing to deliver. Obviously, Airbnb and VRBO deliver great distribution experience, a way for you to vet the homeowner, research, understand them. But does the home really look that good? Does the furniture look that good? Is there going to be groceries in the fridge? Is there going to be one roll of toilet paper or 10? All these questions you have to ask yourself before you go to a vacation. And this is just the way the world is. We sought to say, well, what if when you go to a hotel, what do you get? You get a great night's sleep. You know exactly the pillows and the linens. You know what the coffee pot's going to work. You know there's endless amounts of toilet paper that you can use. There's great bath and body products, whatever it might be. So we're trying to combine the best of the hotelier experience with vacation rentals. So when you go to a Luxus vacation property home, no matter where you go, you're getting a great night's sleep, a fully stocked kitchen, an amazing bathroom, and electronics that are consistent and familiar. And we think if we were to sum up in one word, isn't necessarily luxury, it's certainty. Giving people a very specific, certain experience that they know they're going to get. We believe wholeheartedly that people just want to know what they're going to get on the other side. The world's not providing it to them, so we're going to give it a shot.
That's cool. And how did it start? Did you start out doing this at this level, or has it grown to the point where you're realizing, okay, every year we're adding a new feature, or we're adding things that are more of a certainty when you get there? Is that kind of how this went?
So it started off. It started off at a certain point. It certainly elevated as we went on, refined the process. But it came from my own wife and I and our problem. My wife was pregnant with our first, our boy, 2006. And we knew we wanted to continue to travel, but as new parents, maybe a little anxious and nervous, and we didn't want to travel hotels anymore. Didn't make sense. We didn't have the money to buy our own home. So we thought, wouldn't it be fun if we put together a syndicate? And we basically raised $3.5 million from 18 friends and family, not intending at all for it to be a business. This is purely like to solve our own personal problem. And we bought a home in Maui, a home in Phoenix or Scottsdale, and a home in Western Canada, like a ski summer property. Wow. Bought them all with cash. And now we had a ski property, we had a beach property, we had a lake property, and we had a golf property. And when we did it, though, we set them up the specific way: playpens and booster seats since we had babies. We had proper knives. We had a wine opener. We had good electronics, and I could go down the list for 20 pages, but had all these things we wanted. That business kind of unknowingly, we were in totally different careers, but snowballed, and we ended up raising close to $100 million and then buying 50 homes. It became a real business over that period of that kind of 7 to 10 years. And we left our other careers, focused on this, and it evolved, to your point, over time. And what happened is we just recently, when COVID hit, which had a pretty tough impact on Canada during the time, and lots of places in the world, obviously, we decided to shut that down. So shut down a successful, good, solid, recurring revenue business. And instead of having our kind of private club version, we thought we could build something bigger and better. And I don't want to use that in the way that it was all about size, but more about impact. We knew the experiences we were providing to our clients at the time. And we had about 20,000 vacations over that 16-year time period. We're like, what if we get 1 million experiences? Like, wouldn't that be pretty cool? Like 1 million experiences elevated around the world with people getting this better trip and vacation and memories with their family. And so now we tore it all down, and we're rebuilding it back up under this new version with everything we learned, and applying this for like a significant growth over the next 5 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And now, are you still doing a lot of syndication then? Are you still having investors come in and do this, or are you getting the money on your own? Like, how are you doing that part?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So we shifted from syndication and actually owning the assets because we felt, I guess, that the way to set up the home the way that we wanted, we needed to own the home. That was like our fundamental belief in the early stages. But as we shifted along and we started working with partners like Marriott and Four Seasons on our development side, we realized, I didn't know this at the time, they don't own any of their assets globally. Marriott doesn't own, I don't know, they own like 10 hotels out of their like 20,000 or something. I'm making it up. It's like nothing. Same with Four Seasons. They got out of hotel ownership a long time ago. And we're like, wow, so maybe we don't need to own the asset. Those are obviously super professional, incredible, world-class leading brands, and they don't own any assets, but they manage a brand standard that's required of all their asset owners. So that's when we had this big belief shift to say, well, maybe we just manage other people's assets, apply the Luxus brand standards. So you have all these amazing things we learned over 20 years, apply them. We know that guests appreciate, and guests will come and rent and reoccur rent as time goes on, and decided to go that. So we are out of syndication. We're out of raising capital. Wow. We are managing people's individual vacation homes around the world and trying to do a really good job just running their asset, taking good care of their home, B, maximizing the rental revenue through our program.
That's really cool. And then obviously you have a pretty serious set of standards for that. It's not like I'm just going to come up to you and say, oh, I got a place in Italy and I want you to manage it. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, we'll manage it for you, because your reputation's on the line, because it's your name that is associated with these properties.
Yeah, nailed it. It's a very hard part. And the reason why, because if I'm sure someone hearing this are like, well, that makes total sense. Why are there not hundreds of these companies out there that can have these brand standards? It shouldn't be complicated to have the same linen quality in a portfolio's homes. It is actually tremendously difficult because you have to convince.
The difference is that you've got a place in Italy, a place in Costa Rica. You got a place. I mean, that's not easy. Yeah. I mean, you're managing that. No. I mean, I read that on here. That was the part that was one of the things that blew my mind. It's a great night's sleep. Experience complete relaxation when you unwind with our signature Luxus mattress and premium sheets. I mean, you guys are branding. You're branding sleep in places that are all over the world.
It's true. And so there's like two problems. One is like logistics, to be able to manage this at a global level. We're a very small company still, but we tend to be big and prove that we're going to be quite large over time. But we have to build the foundation to support that type of growth. Yeah. The second thing is every homeowner needs to be convinced to make an investment in their property up front, because they are going to have to apply these things. We get rid of their Kirkland sheets and we put in our premium, hotel, luxury hotel quality. They get rid of their serrated, Costco knives. And Costco's actually are good knives, but like I'm using it to our Henkel knives. So we have to change these things because we're not necessarily just selling pure luxury. It's really selling, again, an experience that people can expect to receive. And so that's the hard part. And that's the reason why there's only a barely a few people in North America doing this.
Yeah.
And because it's hard to get that on scale. But once the flywheel gets going, and right now the proof of performance and our numbers of the homes that are in our portfolio, they're outperforming the market in so many factors because guests want that experience and others aren't providing it. So if we can convince a homeowner, it's got a $2 million home and they got to spend 40 grand or 30 grand to upgrade their home to these particular standards, it's a drop in the bucket if we get them 50 to 100 grand more a year in rental revenue.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's funny because we're kind of going through this on a very small level. My wife and I have a condo down in Ocean City, Maryland, and we actually hooked up with a management company that's a very small management company. It's called Benchmark. I'll give him a plug since he'll enjoy that. Benchmark Properties. They're out of Ocean City, Maryland, and he's definitely very picky. I mean, we have to make sure we have everything the way they want it. It's not like, we just do what we want. It's our house, yes, but we have to have a certain standard. And it makes a difference. It really does. And because people come back. And that's the thing that's interesting is that we have people that keep coming back because of the experience. And I guess that's it, and that's the thing is if I go, okay, I know that no matter where I stay, I know if I go to a Luxus vacation property, it's going to be this certain level, whether it's in Costa Rica or in Playa del Carmen or it's in California, wherever it is, it's always going to be the same experience. And that is very cool.
Well, and to your point, I should clarify, when I say there's no one doing this, there actually are lots of good mom and pop shops, local, regional. Maybe this company, like you said, are doing a very good job on a micro regional level, or like, maybe it's like Southern California as a regional level. And they've just built this by applying their own version of brand standard, probably in a lot of ways consistent to us. I mean, you got sharp knives, you got nice linens, you got good TVs. Like a lot of these things are not like rocket science. It just comes down to like fine-tuned versions.
Yeah.
But as an international player, no one's been able to really scale it to that level because it's the complexity involved. So we love those small mom and pop shops doing a great job. That's the type of companies we'll probably acquire as we grow that already have these brand standards with this great portfolio of homes to help or merge them into our company and allow to grow together. So now for your family, for example, if you travel with that company, you're like, I wish they had a place in the Caribbean or in Italy, whatever. I got to go find the Italian version of this. Well, now you come to Luxus and we have them all. So that's the goal.
Yeah, no, that's actually cool. And what's interesting too, looking at the website for that company, all the houses, kind of all the condos and all the places they do rent have the same like look going through them. Yeah. So it makes you want to actually make yours even better because you're like, wait a minute, they all look the same as mine. I'm gonna make mine even better looking than that is. So it's kind of the same thing. I looked at your properties today and they're all just spectacular. I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful locations. They've got great views. They've got beautiful kitchens. I mean, it's definitely a nice up. And the prices weren't as much as I thought they would be when I was looking at them.
You know what? When we launched, it's a great point. When we launched the company, it was like, okay, we're going to build like luxury because Luxus is the Latin word for luxury. So that was something we just founded on 18 years ago. Yeah. But luxury is a relative word. There's kind of three levels of luxury. There's like like an attainable luxury, like something that's an early stage. There's luxury, then there's ultra luxury, and that kind of like these gaps. So ultra luxury, let's say, is your 5, 6, 7 million plus type properties. Yeah. And your regular luxury, is, maybe between, 2 to 5 million. And then below that might be like this attainable luxury. And they're all great. It very much is in the eye of the beholder. Someone goes to an $800,000 condo with a great bed and, one bedroom and granite countertops. They may feel they're in a luxury experience.
Yeah, it's relative to what they're used to.
We think luxury. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for us, it just says like, let's just build out something that, in our model, instead of going after ultra luxury exclusively, let's have a range so that if you're spending $500 a night or $5,000 a night, we have you covered. Right. Because maybe you want to spend $5,000 a night for one big experience, super cool Caribbean 7-bedroom house in the ocean, but then you're going to want to go back to the same spot, but you only want to be in a 2-bedroom with you and your wife and maybe one other couple. Well, I don't want to spend $5,000 a night. So we have the option to be in the same Luxus experience, but in a smaller condo unit or whatever it may be. And people like that, they have the flexibility then to kind of, choose their mission, but stay within our portfolio.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. What are the hiccups you're finding? Like what are the challenges that you're finding as you grow or in this realm that you're in? What are the challenges?
I would say that the challenge for what we're trying to do is it's very hard to go multi-state and even harder to go international. Now, it's a major barrier to entry. Now, we've been doing this for a long time in different versions. So we're kind of like desensitized to the challenges of like, let's just open up in Dominican Republic, because we're kind of used to the idea of offices and the restructure involved to manage businesses in different countries. But it's a big barrier to entry for other people to do. So that kind of helps us in their factor. Mm-hmm. From us, I think the biggest, shift I would say in our business is we knew getting into this, we tried to start at the trough. We knew there was a peak and COVID, this artificial bump of vacation rentals where everyone in the world was doing it and everyone was trying to enter the business. Yeah. And we deliberately didn't start version 2.0 until after that crash started coming down, because we wanted to wait. It's better to, buy low and sell high versus start high and sell low like everyone else, which is happening. And he gave tons of examples. It's unfortunately very sad. It's how long this trough will be and to what extent the pain is. So the compliance regime is a big part of this issue. You've heard this, but like short-term rentals getting banned in cities all over the place. Yeah. A lot of cities have well-established short-term rental guidelines that we can follow now. But there's a lot of cities still trying to figure it out and waiting for the rules to change. So we have to kind of park and wait before we enter city X until that city council's decided what their rules are around short-term rentals. And that sucks because we want to go to city X.
Well, we had another guy on here that was kind of going through the same stuff. He was actually out in Colorado. He's Airbnb type homes. And he said that's the biggest thing is that these townships and stuff are now discovering Airbnbs and they're getting complaints and all that stuff. And now they're trying to write these rules. Problem is, if you already bought a property and you're basing your income on that, that's a big problem.
It's huge. And that's why we actually have like this advisory service, we call it. We don't really market it as such. We're not intended to be, but we see so many people make so many mistakes because they get to a market. And I'm not bucketing all realtors in the same bucket, but many of them don't really know the short-term rental space the way they should in their local markets. And if you are a realtor listening to this, I encourage you to become a short-term rental expert in your area. Like literally know what the last city council meeting was and what they talked about related to this. And we see often they meet with a realtor says, and the client says, I want a short-term rental. They're like, I'm sure you can short-term rental this place. So I'll give Las Vegas as a great example because we got a project going there. It's separate, but there was 20,000 illegal Airbnbs going in Las Vegas. And a couple of years ago, they had a lottery for 2,000 legal short-term rentals. So I had a client.
That's it? Wait, 2,000 and there's 20,000?
Yeah, exactly. 2,000 legal.
Those numbers don't work well.
Well, exactly. So now what Vegas hasn't figured out how to enforce the illegals yet, but cities will eventually figure out how to enforce illegals. So because they're not enforcing it, I had a friend went down, didn't use our realtor, used another realtor, and the realtor sold him a house. And the realtor said, yeah, well, this guy's short-term renting it. But he didn't know to ask the question, are they truly a legal permit? It's like, well, they've been doing it for 10 years. So I'm a client on their side saying, well, we've been doing it for 10 years. It's probably okay. And now he's going to get shut down in the next year. Yep. And so we encourage, like, if anyone listening wants to buy a short-term rental vacation home and wants the real rules, contact us. We'll connect you with the expert in the area. I don't know every market in the world, but we have a pretty good understanding of key ones in North America. But if we don't, we'll find you a person that can give you the proper guidance. So if you buy a rental, you do it with full disclosure and you do it knowing what you can or can't do with that particular property. And you don't have a multi-six-figure mistake because you have to sell it since you're not getting revenue anymore. Yeah,
that could be really ugly, especially the numbers that you're talking. I mean, when you're looking at these properties that are more luxury, we're not talking a place that's $150 a night, No, that could get really bad really quick. That's unbelievable.
Sure can. It does.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Are
expecting like 500,000 like in Maui, and Maui's going through a short-term rental, and they're going to they have to go to 30 or 90-day rentals. They'll probably cut their revenue by 85%. So it's like that's material.
Well, it also hurts the resale value. Because if you were planning on doing that, if somebody and you put it on the market and you say, hey, by the way, you have to do 30, 60, 90-day rentals. I mean, that definitely hurts the resale value big time. Yeah, it's
big swing.
There's a lot of that still hasn't been played out.
Pardon me?
I said there's a lot of that still hasn't played out yet across the country. The Airbnbs, the short-term rental, a lot of that has not played out. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So let's go into your whole thing with the Four Seasons. You're doing that now. You're in partnership with them out in Vegas. You're putting up now. What is that? That's private residences. Is that is that a timeshare situation, or is that just going to be all your luxury rentals?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I want to take a second and thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They have 24/7 emergency service and a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. If you need help with your heating and air conditioning or indoor air quality, call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. Mention the show and receive a free humidifier with the installation of a complete system.
Good question. So think of both companies used to be integrated from kind of 2014 to 2020. And when COVID hit, we decided to totally separate the companies. So even though they're under called the Luxus Group umbrella, you got Luxus Vacation Properties, independent ownership, independent management, and then you have Luxus Developments, which is independent ownership, independent management. Now, the commonality is I'm the majority owner of both companies, but we have partners in both of the companies to kind of serve their unique purpose. So the overlap is very little. So a lot of people think we build with Four Seasons to put over an Luxus Vacation Properties, but they're actually a whole separate business purpose.
Yeah.
And so that business kind of runs my partner, John, and it's kind of, morphed into this wonderful relationship with Four Seasons, which is
awesome.
My mind. I think everyone's is like probably the preeminent global hospitality brand in the, they're just unbelievable. And they're equally amazing people. We have just blessed to work with them. And we end up getting the project for Four Seasons Private Residences Las Vegas. And to explain the difference, because it's an important distinction, and it's also exciting because it's a neat change in the marketplace that we're able to try to bolt ourselves as being an expert on. But a lot of these hotel brands have always built hotel rooms and they've attached vacation rentals to the homes. So very common with Four Seasons and others. Four Seasons is now in certain markets doing what they call standalone residential. So no hotels rooms at all, purely residential. Some of them you can rent, but in the case of Las Vegas, it's purely to live. So it's really, if you want to live in Las Vegas in a luxury, amazing condo lock and leave from 2 bedrooms to like 6-bedroom penthouses. So 4 million to 30 million. And I want to not be in a single family home and I don't want to live on the strip. There's very little options for luxury condo living. And so we're building the Four Seasons branded vacation properties. I say vacation residences there rather.
Yeah.
And it's a really exciting thing because Four Seasons has lots of these going around the world now. And we're excited to be able to work with them on this one and probably some others. And it's a way you can now live the Four Seasons lifestyle, but you don't have to share the pool chair with a hotel guest because you're ultimately there with other residents.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's a thing for you to say as far as on your resume, to say that you guys were good enough to partner up with Four Seasons. I mean, as a resort, I mean, that's amazing.
Well, we pinch ourselves because, we I don't know. And we've done some pretty cool projects in the past. We thought were relatively cool for, different parts of the world, Hawaii, Italy, other things, but working with them has allowed us to think bigger and think along a different level of scale and a bigger level of impact. Yeah. And for them, they choose their partners, very carefully. So it really was a bit of an honor to be selected as a development partner for them. To develop properties, and they've just been great to work with. And I think these are open and honest and transparent, where our strengths and weaknesses are, and where we are unable to fulfill a specific need that's required, we'll bring on partners that have that ability. And cool. We're thrilled to bring out. We're not the experts on everything. We don't presume to be, so we just partner up with those who are.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let me go into the couple more things. One of the things I thought was interesting, real quick, and I guess it kind of has to do with how you got started in this. It says here, I wrote down, you had a bad Disney experience as a kid.
Yeah, no, I did. It was, I'll try to give the abbreviated version. You can ask any questions, but my first plane trip and our first family experience, my parents were not wealthy. I'm poor for lack of a better word, because they had me as teenagers and I had my sister after, but worked very hard in their careers and built up a successful business. And we had our first trip and went to Disneyland. And this is still early stage in their kind of their careers. And got to the first hotel. It was like kind of trash. I didn't know anything different. For me, it was like, oh, there's a pool, like very cool. Like that's all I really cared about as an 8-year-old. And they're like, we're going to a different hotel. And it was like, and I say hotel, this is a motel, like, where there's a courtyard, a pool in the middle.
Doors on the outside. Yeah.
Doors are on the outside. Yep. This is to be very clear what it was. We go to Disney the first day. Of course, it's magical. You remember it. It's amazing.
Yeah, sure.
And then we go to the hotel room, go to the pool, hang there in the afternoon, go back there. Our doors kicked in and our motel room was robbed.
Oh, no.
I remember my mom was crying and my dad was obviously emotional. And as kids, you don't know what to do. We're young. My sister's a few years younger. And they were like, okay, they didn't steal the passports. They took my jewelry. They took our cash. They're like, I think we got to go early. But then they got really upset because they stole our 3-day Disney passes. Like, what kind of thief steals your kids' Disney passes? And my parents didn't have any money, so they couldn't just go like, oh, just swipe the credit card and go buy new ones. This was a big deal for them, And so on this trip, they spent a lot of money. But the really cool thing is that 5 minutes later, police are over taking them statements. This other family's checking out. And they're like, oh, we got robbed as well. And we got wiped out. We have 1 day left, 4 passes for Disney. Do you guys want them? And they gave them to my parents. And it's like, I get goosebumps right now. Like literally cool. Just, telling the story every time I tell it, because it's like, that is generosity. Like you expect nothing in return. We're like boarding an airplane. You'll never hear from us again.
Yep.
But here's this. And my mom was crying again. And then, we ended up staying for an extra day and went back to Disney for a second day. And it taught me so much about like hard work, hardship, the way life is, generosity. And it kind of helped form a foundation. Like my first true memory of a childhood that stuck out, that was formative for the rest of my life. And was getting robbed in Disneyland. Who would have thought?
That's not everybody's experience of Disneyland the first time.
Totally.
Yeah, typically it's a little better than that. Just so you know. But
we brought the kids back one point, and it was a lot better experience now. But that was it. It happened. So anyway, that was it. Thanks for asking, though.
No, it stuck out to me when I was reading through your stuff. And then, so we're going to wrap this up. But I like what you're doing. I want you to stay in touch. And just real quick, what are the places you think, man, if I could just manage a place there, it would be awesome?
Good question. I don't have a lot of familiarity with the East Coast. I know you're on the East Coast. And so we're starting to we're very familiar with the West Coast, Western US, Hawaii, Latin America, but East Coast not. So I'm really getting excited about, I won't say this is the one place, but like the one region. I want to understand from the Carolinas down to Georgia and Florida about places. And of course, we know the obvious ones that you can see on the map, but some of those really special, like Sea Island and
there's a lot of cool places.
Some of the Carolinas, it's amazing beach play, Hilton Head, things like that. Yeah. So I'm excited to learn more about that side as we grow our business.
Well, let us know. We can help you out with that too. I mean, I've been out this way since I'm born, pretty much. So 54 years of experience on the East Coast.
I will call you.
Definitely do. But I really appreciate your time. And is there anything, what I want to do? I want to share your website is luxusgroup.com, right? Mm-hmm. And your Instagram is just Instagram.com/LuxusVP, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. That's the main Luxus one. Yeah.
And
anyone can follow me, Stephen Petasky. I don't post a lot, but there's some odd things on there.
Well, the best one was when your kids were falling asleep in the plane. That was my. Yeah. And if you're watching this show right now, you're listening. You got to go to his personal Instagram. It was on your personal, I'm pretty sure. And it's a trip. He's on a helicopter with his kids. They wanted the window seats, I guess, or you thought they did. And they're both falling asleep. And there's a video that you take that is just, to me, hilarious. It just, if you have kids, it makes it even more funny. That's awesome.
Literally, I've watched it 500 times, and they were my kids, and I was there, and I still think it's funny.
It's hilarious, dude.
No one's told me it's not funny. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it, man. We'll definitely have you back on, and we wish you the best of luck with these properties. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at some of them. Maybe we'll end up staying in one of these properties because they are very, very nice. All right, there you go. Stephen Petasky. He's amazing. Luxus Vacation Properties. If you're looking for a really nice place to stay, whether it's in Costa Rica, or he has places all over the place, there's the places to stay. And there you go. He actually has serviced more than 20,000 vacations, which blew my mind. But check him out. He's online at luxusgroup.com. That's about it. We'll see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. Hey guys, this is Brad Weisman from the Brad Weisman Show. I don't know if you remember this, but a couple months ago, I had these 3 guys on. They have a company called BroGlow. Well, I have to tell you, I've been using their product now for several months, and I really, really like it. It gives you a nice tan. It's not orange. It's not blotchy. It's very, very even. They tell you how to apply it, and my mom and dad are using it. My wife is using it, and a lot of my friends are using it. It's an amazing product. So if you're looking to get a little tan before the summer hits, this is the way to go. Go to thebroglow.com, put in the discount code BRADW for 10% off. All right. Thanks for watching the show.